Till now we'll see, if we take one muscle, in this muscle we'll be having two structures. First one, contractile. This is nothing but muscle tissue. Here we will be seeing actin and myosin. Okay, here muscle fiber. Second one, non-contractile. This is connective tissue. This is connective tissue. So in this connective tissue, muscle connective tissue, what we can see, first one, if we see muscle, outer layer is called epimysium. After that, perimysium. After that, endomysium. After that, we can say sarcolemma. So all these structures are connective tissue structures. All these structures are connective tissue structure. And one more, where the muscle, suppose if we take, and one more connective tissue, that is tendon. This is also connective tissue of the muscle. Suppose if we take, this is our arm. If we take, this is anterior. Here anti-side, this is our humerus. This is radius bone. Okay, imagine. So here we will be having biceps muscle. This one tendon. This is muscle, biceps muscle. So if we take this portion, the tendon where it is going to insert to the bone, that is nothing but myotendinous junction. Myo means muscle, tendinous means tendon, junction means myotendinous junction. So in this tendon, okay, we'll come to a nice point. In this tendon, what will happen? Suppose here muscle is in relaxation position. So that the tendon will be free. What it means? Suppose this is our humerus, this is our radius. So between these two, muscle is there. Here this is the tendon. Okay, this is the tendon. If the muscle is in relaxation state, tendon will be loose. Okay, tendon will be loose. If the muscle is doing contraction, example we'll take concentric contraction. So muscle is going to shorten. If the muscle is in contraction, bone is there, bone. If the muscle is going to contraction, this contraction force inside the muscle is going to pull the tendon. Here it is loose. When this muscle is going for contraction, that time it is going to create a tension inside the tendon. It is going to pull the tendon in this direction, towards this direction. Suppose here, if the patient is doing elbow flexion movement, biceps has to contract concentrically. That means biceps length should become less. When the length is becoming less, this tendon from here, the force will come when the length is becoming less, so that it is the muscle fibers are going to pull this tendon upward, so that this segment will move upward and it is going to create elbow flexion movement. Okay, that is the power of the connective tissue. Now, other connective tissues other than these connective tissues, any other connective tissues are there? Means yes, it's there. So that other connective tissues are present in the form of fascia, and are present in the form of aponeurosis. Present in the form of aponeurosis, and at the last point, or maybe it present in the sheaths. Presence in the form of sheaths. So these are about connective tissues. Now we will see this fascia. So what is this fascia? If we take fascia, connective tissue, here in human body we will be having superficial fascia and deep fascia. Will be having two. Superficial fascia will be formed by the loose structures. So that this superficial fascia we can find out behind the skin. We can see this superficial fascia. Example for this superficial fascia, muscle name platysma. It is the neck muscle. This is example for this one, superficial fascia. And if we see deep fascia, in this deep fascia, it is going to form in the form of deep fascia, at the same time retinacula also. So now we'll see what is this deep fascia. Suppose this deep fascia is formed by the collagenous structures. These are nothing but the continuation of the muscles, muscle structure. Example, deep fascia we can take femoral fascia in the lower limb. Suppose this is our luteal region, this is our front region. Okay, this thigh. So here we'll be having patella. This is leg. This is our leg. So here we'll be having tensor fascia lata, TFL, tensor fascia lata muscle, and here we'll be having Gmax, gluteus maximus muscle. So suppose imagine this is our femur. Here we'll be having tibia. So these two muscle forces are transformed by the one fascia, that is nothing but iliotibial. These two muscle forces will transfer to this fascia and it will insert into the tibia. So this is iliotibial iliotibial fascia, also called as IT band, iliotibial band. So here D fascia will be present inside the body. It is going to continue the muscle structures and it is going to take the muscle function also. Example, femoral fascia incluvium. Here it is the IT band, iliotibial band. It is going to take the forces from the TFL, tensor fasciae lata, and Gmax, gluteus maximus major. So this is one example. Here D fascia over. Now if you see retinacula is nothing but the transverse thickness of the fascia. If we take one example, for retinacula, suppose if we take here our wrist joint, here we will be having our thumb and these are our fingers. Here we will be having flexor retinaculum. Here we will be having flexor retinaculum. Behind this flexor retinaculum, what will pass? These muscles of the hand will pass. Muscles of the forearm muscles mean it will pass to the hand behind this flexor retinaculum. So here, what is the function of retinaculum? This retinaculum is going to keep all these muscles in anatomical position. Suppose if retinacula is not there, when we are doing flexion extension movement, if retinacula is not there, when we are doing contraction of these movements, that time the tendons may go away from this anatomical structure. When we are doing movement. So to prevent that, here retinacular present. So this is about fascia. Now we'll see aponeurosis. What is this aponeurosis? Sometimes the aponeurosis are difficult to differentiate from the fascia. This is one point. So one example for aponeurosis, if we take biceps brachial tendon, here origin will be from two places origin will be there, so that muscle will form. This is muscle, this is origin, this is muscle. One tendon will insert into the radial head, radial tuberosity on radius. This is one tendon, and one more tendon will be like aponeurosis. So this is the example for the aponeurosis. It's a connective tissue of the muscle. This is the contractile tissue of the muscle. This is contractile. This is connective tissue, also called as non-contractile tissue. Okay. Now we'll see this sheaths where we can see, like example, that is femoral sheath. We can see in this femoral triangle, we can see that femoral sheath. So these are the connective tissue structures of the muscle. Contractile tissue structures are different, connective tissue structures are different. So this is about muscle connective tissue. Okay.